everyone, today I'm here to talk about my least favorite books of 2016. I know I love, and I'm sure a lot of you guys love, talking about books that you love. Unfortunately, not all the books that we read, we love. There are some books that we read that we really just don't really enjoy, and I'm here to talk about those today. I originally wasn't planning to film this video because I don't like talking about books I don't like a lot. I asked you guys on Twitter and a lot of you guys said yes, so here I am to talk about my least favorite books of 2016. Now, first and foremost, I just want to say there may be some books on this list that you may love and I may not like, and that is totally okay. We can have different opinions and that is still awesome. I am so happy if you have loved one of these books that I'm talking about today. I think that's great. I think every book that has ever been written somebody loves, and that is awesome, but you know, like I said, everyone has different opinions. These are just my personal least favorites, and I only have about 7 books to talk about because I don't read too many books that I really just don't like, but I did read some this year that I just didn't enjoy that much. So anyway, without further ado, let's begin. The first book I want to talk about today is probably my least favorite read entirely of 2016, and that is The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. This book in particular, the one thing I didn't really like about it is that it had so much going on. I felt like this author tried to put so many things in this book and it just was overwhelming, and it was just so much. I felt like the book couldn't really decide what it wanted to be. It's a time travel book, but it was also a romance book, but it also had a lot of Native American diversity in it, but also had a lot of info dumping in it. It had so many things going on. It was just very, very confusing to keep up with. And another thing, like I said, I didn't like about it was the fact that there was so much info dumping. I don't mind some info dumping if it's really relevant and needed in the story, but I felt like this book just had so much info dumping, like I couldn't stand it. And also I did not enjoy the romance in this book at all. I felt like it was just weird, and the time travel element was weird. It had a lot of problems with the diversity as well, because she wrote about Native Americans, and I know there's been a lot of articles stating that this was a horrible book to represent Native Americans. So like I said, I just really did enjoy this book because it had so much going on in it and it did not pull it off. So that's sad to say. It was probably my least favorite read of 2016. Another book that I really did not enjoy a lot is Lady Renegades by Rachel Hawkins. This is the third and final book in the Rebel Belle trilogy. A couple years ago I read Rebel Belle and I loved it. I thought it was so satire-y, so witty, just so awesome. It's about a girl that somehow by the stroke of chance she becomes a paladin. Just an amazing book. So I quickly fell in love with that book. And then the second book, Ms. Mayhem, came out and I was really kind of iffy about that book. So I was like, I still want to finish the trilogy. I want to give it a chance. And then this book came out and I just really didn't like it. First of all, it is very, very short. This is the last book in the trilogy and it is only 260 pages. I feel like there should have been a lot more going on with this book because it was the last book in the trilogy. I felt like a lot of things didn't happen in this book. I wanted things to happen and they just didn't. A couple of characters that were so prevalent in this trilogy were not even in this book, which I was, again, what the heck. And overall, I just was really underwhelmed by this book. I'm not saying I hate it, I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it. I still feel like Rebel Belle could have been a standalone book and it could have been amazing because I didn't enjoy the last 2 books in the trilogy. I just really wanted more from this book. That's the main thing I can say about it, is I wanted more and I felt like I didn't receive it. So I was very just not liking this book at all really this year. The next book I want to talk about is an adult book, and that is The Hypnotist Love Story by Liane Moriarty. This year I discovered Liane Moriarty and I really enjoy the majority of her books. I have my favorite books of all time, but I feel like Liane Moriarty just writes a very good story that quickly captivates me, and they're just really fun reads. I don't honestly expect too much from them, but I still know that when I read a book by her, I will probably really like it because I do like the way she writes. This book, I did not enjoy at all. The one thing I could say about this book is boring. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry to say, but I felt very bored by this book. I felt the whole plot in general was just weird. It's all about a hypnotist, like it says. It's literally the title, honestly, which there's no shame in that. There's a lot of books that are the titles. About a hypnotist that falls in love and she realizes that her new boyfriend has a ex-girlfriend that's like stalks him, and that sounds like a very interesting premise, but I felt like it was poorly done. I feel like she could have done a lot more with the story, especially with the stalker girlfriend. It felt flat for me. I felt very bored while reading this. I really had to push myself to finish it because I felt very just ugh. Like I said, all of her books are not my favorite books, but this is definitely my least favorite by her because just the amount of boredom it gave me. I just felt like it was just, it'd been really cool, but it wasn't. Sorry to say. Another book I'm going to talk about is With Malice by Eileen Cook, and this is kind of a controversial one. A lot of people do enjoy this book, and that's not to say I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't like it as much as a lot of other people did. This is a YA mystery where a girl goes on a school trip abroad to Europe, and then she gets in a car accident, and she wakes up 2 weeks later and has no recollection of her memory, and her best friend is dead. So it's constantly trying to figure out how her best friend died, who killed her, and all that kind of stuff. I felt like this book really could be an amazing Lifetime movie, and you can take that however way you want. I don't think too much happened. I feel like the mystery unraveled slowly, which I don't mind in a mystery, but I felt like this one, it should have went a little faster paced, and I felt like more should have been going on with it. And the ending, I really didn't enjoy the ending. I felt very just like, really? With the ending? That's really all? Like there could have been more. I felt like it could have been an amazing packed a punch ending, but I didn't really like it. So yeah, this book is not one of my least favorites, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to enjoy it. Another one I didn't really enjoy is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. It's mystery thriller books, and I have read The Woman in Cabin 10 this year, and I did really enjoy that. I wouldn't say I really enjoyed it, I just enjoyed it. This book, however, I didn't really like, and I was surprised I didn't like it because so many people love this book. If you go on Goodreads, there's a lot of people that love this book. I did not. The mystery element was okay. It could have been done better. The main problem I had with this book is the people in it. They were horrible. It was all about this bachelorette party and all these friends in this one room, and some of them didn't know each other, which is understandable because that happens at bachelorette parties. I know I've been to some where I have not known the people in them, but everyone was just straight up mean to each other, like passive aggressively, which is the worst ever. Like, I am not a fan of passive aggressive comments. I get them honestly a lot in my real life, and they just make me cringe. And reading this whole book, I was cringing because the amount of passive aggressive like remarks they made to each other. Like, it was basically you being in a room. Imagine you were in this book and you were in a room of people that you think are your friends, or friends of your friends that you should probably get along and probably be okay with, and you're all just rooting for each other to fail in every aspect of life. They were just horrible to each other. The things they said and everything, I was just very not happy about that. And the main problem with this book is the people were just mean, straight up. And like I said, the mystery wasn't as good as it could have been. I felt like the ending was not a big like surprise or a shock or anything. I think a lot of people could see it coming, and that's not to say a bad thing about a mystery, but I just really was expecting more because I did enjoy The Woman in Cabin 10. I was very underwhelmed by this book, and I just didn't enjoy the characters. And the last book I want to talk about is the one I just most recently read, and that is What Light by J. Asher. This is a Christmassy type of book. I think with this book, I really didn't like it because I wanted a lot more out of it, and I didn't get it. I just didn't really enjoy the writing style, honestly, a lot. I felt like everything kind of fell flat. And it's not to say it's a bad story. I could see how it's a very cute, fluffy story. I just personally didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I wanted a little bit more growth and a little bit more oomph with the story, but I felt like it didn't bring it to me, and that's the only real problem I have with it. But overall, I thought it was an okay book. It just wasn't one of my favorites. So that is all of my least favorite books of 2016. Hopefully it wasn't too many, or maybe it was just right. You will have to let me know. If you have read any of these books and felt the same way, please let me know in the comments. And if you have read any of these books and completely love them, also please let me know. I think that's great if you loved any of these. That's awesome. I'm glad you really enjoyed it. I just personally didn't. So yeah, this video was kind of hard to film because I don't like talking about things that I don't like, but a lot of you guys asked for it, so hopefully it was okay. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.